podcast with me, Stacey and Bri, where we talk to anyone and everyone involved in women's rugby league. How are you today, Bri?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Miserable out there again, isn't it? So, February though now, so it's getting closer to the warmer climate. How are you?
Good. We're finally out of January, the longest month ever. Well, looking forward to it getting a bit warmer.
I know, but now February's got an extra day because it's a leap year, so it's just
more games to get in though this month, so we're getting closer.
Getting there, isn't it?
Who have we got on today's podcast?
I'm delighted to introduce today's guest. We have the captain of London Broncos. We have Courtney Treco on. Courtney, how are you today?
Hey, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
How's the weather down there?
Sunny, can't complain.
Not jealous, I promise.
Of course.
Courtney, before we get into everything, for those who don't know who you are, could you explain your rugby and rugby league journey so far?
Yeah, of course. So, like you said, I captain London Broncos ladies. I've been playing rugby, I should say rugby union to start with, since 2011. I picked it up in the US, funny enough, in uni when I was over there. And then I've been playing, I still play union. That's my winter sport to keep me busy. And then rugby league, I first dabbled in 2016, surprisingly in Sussex. We had a little team for a short stint. Dabbled there, and then when London Broncos started up just after the pandemic, joined in there, and I've been there ever since. So yeah, it's been 3 solid years of rugby league, and I'm glad I can add that to all of the rugby that I've been doing.
What thing you find? I've always wanted to ask someone this who plays both versions of the sport. Can you find traits that you can use from either sport in the other?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the beauty of organization that comes from rugby league really nicely can transfer into union, in the sense of adding a bit of structure and a bit of, like, where you can't just, sometimes you'll see rugby, you'll watch union and it'll go 40 phases of just picking goes. It's a great way to add a bit of structure to a game where you integrate all the forwards and backs. I find that's one of my favorite parts of, one of the things I bring from league into union. From a union perspective, you definitely see a bit more of that sort of two-way play in open space that can translate quite well, especially as a back. I play halfback in league, and I play either 10 or 15 in union, so the skills transfer quite nicely. And it's rugby anyway, right? The basic skills of tackle, catch, pass, run, forward, that goes across anyway. So it's nice just to be able to do it all year round and refine those skills in both things.
Fantastic. Come to London Broncos, and I say just after the pandemic, the team was formed. In 3 years, lost 3 games or 4 games, and been to 2 finals. Winning last year, which was obviously a good way to get over the year before, shall we say. So for those who don't know, in 2022, London Broncos, they finished league leaders, beaten in the final by Cardiff Demons. Last year, it was role reverse, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So, what did you take into last year's final from the year before?
I think we tried to reset. I think there were so many nerves going into that final the year before, and we just didn't get into the right headspace from the moment we got on the coach, I'd even say. We just couldn't get that right feeling. Having a final away, our first final as well as a team, it was a really big moment, and we just didn't step up that day. It was just one of those unfortunate, it wasn't our day. Cardiff were the better team. The next year, we figured out how to deal with that and deal with the emotions of that. Treat it as another game. Yes, it's a final, but we know Cardiff. we know what we're capable of, and there was no reason we couldn't win the final. So it's like we tried to remove some of those nerves. Nerves are natural, but try to be open about them and say, it's okay. We don't need to be nervous for this. Just because it's a final doesn't mean it's not something we can't take.
For those who don't know, Super League South, Super League Women's South, is the Army Rugby League, the Tigers, Bristol Goldfields, and Cardiff Demons, London Broncos, Plymouth Seabirds as well. In the past, there's been Cornish Rebels and Oxford Cavaliers. Yeah. It's really starting to progress more and more and more every year, isn't it?
Yeah. It's exciting to see it grow finally.
And this is the thing. I think people appreciate now that this is growing and growing in what most people wouldn't call the heartland of the sport. So for 2023, how was it for you personally? Obviously, you get to lift the trophy, which must have been amazing. But for the rest of the season, how was it for you?
I mean, the season itself, we had such good recruitment come in. Getting the chance to play in the Challenge Cup 2023 was an incredible year for us. There were so many new moments for us. We got to experience real rugby league, I'd have to say. Like, yes, we play rugby league in the South, but playing against a team like St. Helens is our first game of the season. It's a shock to the system, but we learned so much just in that one game. And being able to take all those lessons and apply them each game we played, it made a massive difference. And we really are finally getting into a groove of rugby league. I think we were union players playing under rugby league rules, where now we're transitioning into becoming rugby league players. And that's a really nice place to be because people understand what they're doing. They're understanding the game plan and why we do things, not just like, oh, I carry the ball and I do this for 3 phases and then we do X, Y, and Z. No, we actually get why, the purpose of what we're doing. So being able to see that progress, yes, we weren't the league winners, but that taught us a lot of things so that when we went into the final, we were able to fix our mistakes and, work really hard to win that trophy. And it was the most rewarding feeling ever. I think that'll be one of the highs of my sporting career, regardless of what happens in the future.
So we've touched on the Chance Cup. I was going to ask you what were your goals for 2024, but before I do, Challenge Cup, you've got 2 of the same teams as last year.
Yeah.
So how are you going to go about it this year? Obviously, learning from what you did last year.
I think similar approach to what we did last season is take each game as it comes. Like, don't overthink the entire Challenge Cup. Each match is going to be a different challenge. We have St. Helens as the first game on the Saturday, on the 16th, and we know that's going to be a big challenge. The goal for that is going to be put in a stronger performance than we did last time, because last time they were an unknown in the sense that we had never played anyone of that caliber. Now we know what kinds of things we want to do as a team, stronger connections in defense, making sure we have 3 men in the tackle, slowing the breakdown. Those little basics, we know we just have to be even crisper on for those massive games. As we then go through, it's then thinking, how can then we build on the other elements of the game to then on games that we potentially can completely take, how we then capitalize on those. Like our Castleford game last season was a very different game to our St. Helens game. And it was great to see that even within those 3 matches we played, we were able to progress and then end the Challenge Cup with 1 solid win. This year, the goal would likely be 2. I mean, if we could take 3, that would be incredible. I think that would be the upset of the year. But that, the goal is to just be better every single time we go out there and play.
It's fantastic. So what are your personal goals for 2024?
I just want to continue to become a better halfback. I want to, be a really threatening halfback in the sense of, I can do anything. If I'm going to be, you don't know if I'm going to carry, you don't know if I'm going to kick, you don't know if I'm going to be fixing someone into a space. I want to be a bit of that lethal weapon within the team that then also helps organize the structure and shape within the team. I do sort of project management as my everyday job, and I find it fitting that I'm a halfback because I live organizing things. I think that's my strength, but I think my actual gameplay is what I want to then up a couple of notches to say, not only do I organize, but I'm a threat myself, and I can help either put myself or put other people in fantastic positions to score.
And pre-season as training has started. How you finding it so far?
Really exciting. It's good to be back. Sort of, a lot of us are heavy in union season, hitting the tail end of it. It does have a bit of an overlap, which is taxing on the bodies, but in the sense of we are game fit because we have been playing, that is a positive. So we're not building from scratch. But it's so exciting to be back. I think everyone just couldn't stop hugging each other because everyone missed each other so much. We end up in all different parts of the South, really, because we're split between London. You have some girls come up from Sussex and Surrey and Henley and everywhere else. So everyone really comes to this hub in the centre of London to play a bit of rugby league, and we all really enjoy each other's company.
I think there's been a buzz around London this season as well, because me personally has seen more things from London, and obviously you got the men's team promoted this year, and in your own admission the women's team are now calling themselves rugby league players rather than under the guise of union players as league. Have you noticed that yourself, that you've been getting pushed out there more and people knowing who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one, with the men, that's been such an incredible achievement for the club in general to have, us win and the men get promoted. Huge for the club. So that really has created such a buzz around wanting to push the club as a whole. We've really seen more interest in people wanting to get involved, volunteer, support, play. I'll be on the train, I'm happen to be in my Broncos hoodie, and someone will come and speak to me. It's a very strange position to be in, to be like, oh, you play for London Broncos? It's an exciting place to be because it's such a young sport, especially for the women's side. But even, in the men's, it's not as popular in London, but to see this growth come out of the last couple of years has been really exciting to be a part of that. And hopefully it'll continue. And then we'll be able to see other more local teams start to grow and develop as well.
That's the thing. You can already see that growth in the men's game with Hammersmith, Hillside, West Warriors doing very well in the Challenge Cup. So you can already see the effect that both the men's side and your own side had last season.
Yeah, it's an exciting place to be, and it's great because on the community development side, our London Broncos community team is actually going into schools and coaching rugby league, not just for boys, but for girls as well. One of our assistant coaches, he's one of the ones involved, and he was just at a school, and they had a group of, I think it's 30 girls at the school that were giving rugby league a try. And that's a really exciting place to be, to know that there are high school girls out there that are interested in taking up the sport in an area that is so heavily challenged by rugby union.
We spoke to Jodie Cunningham recently, and she said that how she started was in high school, and it was just entering the competition, just to have that information, that small little bit of, and that little bit of light, see that this can grow in a city like London. It's fantastic to hear. It really is. Courtney, that's it from me. It's lovely to get to know you. I'm going to hand over to Stacey now for some quick fire questions.
So we've touched on some of these as we've been talking along, but I'll say, it can be union or league. What's the first position that you played?
First ever position, it was for union, second row. To give you context, I'm about 5'4", so that's pretty comical, to say the least. It was very a tactical thing, but that was also back in the day, uni-wise, not probably ever my position. For league, it was actually, I always was put in that halfback role, so I've sort of stuck it out there.
It was the first team that you joined?
In the UK, for Union was Cove Rugby Club, or was Sussex Merlins.
The worst part of pre-season training?
Conditioning. There's no denying it. I don't mind running, but our S&C coach us through the ringer. We do so much running and so many Malcolms. So
Malcolms, that's one. It's usually Malcolms and Broncos where it's just like your mind automatically goes. What's the best part of pre-season training?
I think it's just the hard graft with your mates. Like, there's something special about working hard for a goal so that when you finally play that first game, you feel ready.
Which team did you support growing up?
I was in the U.S. yet again, also not the most traditional place. So I didn't really have a team that I overly supported. I mean, I supported England when they played rugby union or league, and that was about the most of it until I moved over. And I never really took to an allegiance because I'll watch anyone play. I'm not from anywhere in particular around here, so I don't have to pick anyone, which is nice.
Who's your favourite player?
To be fair, I think Joey Cunningham is one of my favorite players to watch. I'll never be in that position, but watching her play rugby league is, that's a goal you want to work to. Also, Zoe Harris, she's a fantastic halfback. And having played against her, that was a really cool experience to play against her, having watched her play for England and then play against her. Really cool.
How was that playing against Zoe Harris? You're 5'4" and Zoe's like 6'7".
Yeah, no, it was definitely interesting. Is like watching her organize the game and the way she looked at the picture was something I was like, that's definitely the sort of point I want to get to. There was one moment she tackled me. You want to make sure you land on your front, of course, so that you're in a better position to get up. And thinking, oh, she's quite lean. Yeah, she's tall, but quite lean, so I should be able to get to my front fine. And she was able to, on the floor, flip me onto my back, and I was just a bit shocked. Like, when did she have the chance to do that? I thought I was down first, but, those little technical things, technical brilliance you work on over the years. So, great things to think about now. Next time we play, I'll be looking to do the exact same back.
I think I know the answer to this one, but what's the most memorable moment of your career so far?
I think I'd say two. Definitely the final, that so special. Very emotional time, and it just was 3 years of incredible work that we put in to get to that award. So I don't think any of us will ever forget that. And then getting my cap for USA in September, that was really exciting, really cool. So hopefully more to come with that, because there's a tournament in November, and so fingers crossed. In the works with that.
What's the best piece of rugby advice that you've ever been given?
I'd say don't overthink it. I think people try to overthink scenarios to do the perfect play or the perfect pass, whatever it is. Just trust your gut and trust that you know your rugby well enough to make the right decision at that time. Everyone's picture is going to be different, and what you watch on the analysis is going to be very different to what you see in the moment. So it's like backing yourself and trust your abilities, because if you do that, you will do what you think is the right move at the time. And that's okay. Like, as long as you back that 100%, you're going to be good. So always back yourself and back what you can do.
And for a bonus question, pick a number between 1 and 10.
I was going to say 7.
Do you have a party trick? If so, what is it, if you can say it on here?
Yeah, I can do the worm.
I mean, it's a shame we can't even see it. You'll have to do that at a game. We'll go and see, just to see you do the worm.
I don't know.
That just means we're gonna have to get along to a London Broncos game, and we're gonna have to video it. That's it. That's all.
Definitely.
Courtney, thank you very much for your time. You've been an amazing guest. We really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll get you back on later in the year and have a little catch up.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you so much for having me. Really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. And hopefully, we'll speak in the future, but also maybe run into you at a game.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to Out of Air League podcast. And remember to subscribe on YouTube, but also on Spotify. So subscribe on there as well. And you can follow us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and Instagram for all of your women's rugby league needs.
Join us again next time.
Bye.
Bye.